How does everybody feel about seeing a really cool trick? Stick around to see how I built this thing. To start things off, this build is dubbed Perun, as in the pagan all god from Slavic mythology. As I've said in other videos, I like mythology. With that out of the way, let's talk about the build itself. For the CPU, I did pick out a 5820K, and hold your horses, and hopefully this quells everybody's, whatever they want to say, and why I didn't go i7 600K. I didn't need another quad core. I needed something with more cores in the same system. And for what I paid for this, it's a steal. And trust me, it is a steal. I went to Micro Center, CPU was $300, and at the same time I was going, it was back in September, they had some odd sale that any clearance item was an extra 25% off, and there was a motherboard that caught my eye because I was curious. So it's a Gigabyte X99 UD5 Wi-Fi motherboard. It's fantastic, but here's the catch about it. It wasn't a return item, it was a display item, meaning it has no use on it whatsoever. It's brand new. Plugged everything in, as you're going to see in the build video. It boots just fine. It's a perfectly awesome motherboard for what I paid, $130. Total cost CPU and motherboard was $507, and to me that was ridiculous to pass that up, because I did want to go for a higher end motherboard, but this has everything I need. Sure, I had to go bigger case, but that didn't bother me. Now, the other reason I went X99, besides just more cores on a CPU die, or eventually get a Xeon in here, is Broadwell E is going to be coming out, hopefully. As the rumor mills are growing and churning and producing more and more information on Broadwell E, and I saw that there's going to be a 10-core, 20-thread CPU, and I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. Now, the main reason I like that is I work in After Effects a lot. I do a lot of Maya as well. I do fluid simulations here and there. And I thought to myself, well, that's a fantastic thing, because I need more cores, not faster single core. That's great for, desktop user, some enthusiast gamers, typical user. But for what it's worth, for now, the 5820K at 4 GHz, I'm more than happy right now. I could push it further, but I'll mess with that down the road. This whole build is going to be an evolving process. This is version 1 of Perun, and it's going to get more and more parts as I get funds and I get money for it. But I started out with, a modest 32 gigabytes of DDR4 memory. It is the Corsair LPX 2133, and I bought that because, well, it was cheap as hell. It was $100 for the first batch, and the other one I got it on sale for $90, which I'm like, that's a pretty good deal. And both times it was free shipping, and well, I like its low profile, it's cool, it does what it needs to do, and has low latency, which I'm really looking forward to. Now, they are overclockable. I've been able to get things squeezed 2666 out of there, but I haven't tested stability, so I put it back down to 2133, because I'm like, plenty fast, low latency. It's exactly what people that do motion graphics need, lower latency. This whole build will eventually get to 64 gigabytes, because I did buy the 2x8 kits, and as I said, they're cheap, they're great. Memory is at a fantastic price right now. I mean, I'm blown away. A little bit back to the motherboard. I mean, there's not much to say about it, but I wanted a smaller board eventually, but $500 for a CPU and a motherboard, I was like, okay, done. Has ambient lighting, has a crap load of SATA ports. It has actually really nice spacing for triple SLI or quad SLI if you wanted to go that route. But with bigger cards like the R9 Fury, the quad is out of the question just because they're too wide. They're double slot coolers, but technically they're triple. As I can see here clearly, it's butting halfway into the third slot. So, as I said, there's nothing else to say about an X99 motherboard. It is an older board, but I was looking for something for now, because eventually I could sell this motherboard and move to something with, say, USB 3.1, but I don't think I need that. But we'll see where that goes when Broadwell E rolls out, and see if Intel doesn't screw up. The video card in this system, as you saw in the Ungohoyer build log video, which was kind of a build log, but it's more like what's in my system. The R9 Fury was in that, and the X99 build was going to happen anyways when I bought that, because that's what I wanted to do. Now, What else is there to say about R9 Fury besides people clamoring saying why did you go with 980 Ti? Now what I was looking for was something under 600 bucks. The 980 Ti was a bit over. People would say, well, you're already spending 550, why don't you move to 660? I was like, well, that's 100 bucks more, and that's a fair chunk of change extra. So the R9 Fury hits everything I need. The coil hum that I've been having on the Z77 board, it's not apparent on this motherboard. I don't know what's going on, but it's now running better than it did on the Z77. More than likely, it's more modern platform. Everything's more copacetic, and it runs same temperature as on my Z77. Now, I did want to move to NVMe based drive for this, but at this given time, my budget was too constrained, so I invested just in a Samsung 850 EVO of 500 gig. I got it for a sweet deal at 141. You can't beat that for now. So I was like, I'll buy the 500 gig drive now because it's a great price. And when NVMe drives saturate the market more, meaning instead of just Samsung and Intel doing stuff, meaning OCC/Toshiba gets in on it with their Jet Express, and the prices go a little bit lower because I've noticed the trend of all SSDs are starting to drop crazy in price, and there's sales everywhere. And if you don't have an SSD right now, I say buy this month. Seriously, there's so many sales. There's nothing too exciting to say. It's an SSD, it's fast, it does what it's need to do, it has plenty of capacity, and I'll be happy for the 2-3 months until I move to NVMe, which everybody's like, it's super fast. Yes, I know it's super fast, but it's too early to say exactly how fast, because I'm pretty sure that if I were to buy NVMe now, it'd be January and we'd see drives that are 3 times as fast. So I'd rather hold my horses and wait. The other storage in here, nothing to write home about. It's just my 2TB Seagate drive, which is still functioning, and my old 750 moved in from Ungeheuer. I will eventually move to a 3TB drive in here for the storage and a 960GB SSD for secondary storage, just to move more away from mechanical, even though, you know, the 1.3 TB will be mechanical, but I need mass storage for my work. So the power supply, nothing too exciting. It's the 850 XFX Black Edition power supply from Ungeheuer, but this will be swapped out with something 1050 to 1250 watt power supply, depending on exactly what I need in the end, because I eventually want to do maybe another R9 Fury because I'm feeling crazy, or if the dual Fury cards come out, I'll need more juice because, well, an 850 is not going to be able to handle that. As it stands, this build is pushing close to 700 watts, and I did have some weird issues because the power supply does have 4 years on it, and the Z77 board was pulling a lot less power than this thing is. The TDP on the 5820K is more than double than the 3770K, so I'm sure that that power supply is kind of wigging out, wondering what the hell is going on, and I'm pretty sure any oddities I'm noticing, even running at stock speeds, is due to the power supply showing its age, which it's a Seasonic power supply. Now, the 4 years I've had this power supply, it's probably diminished in what it's able to do by maybe 2-3%, but it's tough to say until I crack it open and check it again. But last time I checked, it was fine, and that was 6 months ago. Now, I'm sure when I replace the power supply in this thing with a newer one, it is gonna get rid of 99% of the gremlins. Then I could work on whatever else is in there. The case I picked out for this build is a Corsair 760T. As you can see, it's pretty big. I did want to go originally for a makshacks board because I wanted something smaller, more compact. But what are you gonna do? I spent 500 bucks on a CPU motherboard, and then the case I got it for 135. After shipping it was 160, so still much lower than purchasing it full on, which I think comes close to 200 shipped with tax, depending on where you're buying, because I know Micro Center charges tax. Corsair does include a few fans with the 760T. One of them is non-LED, which was awesome, and I wish the front two were non-LED, but the 2 fans I chose to purchase after selling those 2 LED fans to a friend were a pair of Noctua NF14S 1500 PWM fans, and they're fantastic. They're running a little bit loud because I'm running them straight from the 760T fan controller, which I guess could be fine, but gonna plug it in straight to the board and see how that runs, and probably gonna be a lot quieter. Because with the next topic on this build log, it being the cooler, I picked out a Corsair H110i GTX with the stock fans, but I will be replacing the 2 stock fans on the H110i. They're a little bit noisy when they're running anything above the quiet mode, which is disappointing. And I'm going to replace them with a push-pull high static pressure setup, and I will do a video on comparison in temperatures and noise. Well, see how noise goes, if I can get myself a decibel meter or use my portable recorder. We'll see how that goes. The H110i though is an oddity because the little display guy is supposed to be RGB, but it's kind of wonky where it's either red, green, blue, or slightly a shade less of one of them. You could get pink. Orange was a pain in the butt to get going, but I got it for 120 on sale, and I was surprised because it's normally 140, 150, and then it's got weird back order issues. And so far, I'm very happy with the temperatures. Now, with it being pretty chilly and the window cranked open, I get 25 to 26 degrees Celsius on the CPU, which is fantastic. And for the money, I'm pretty happy because I was about to go for an NZXT Kraken X61, and well, I couldn't find one that was in stock at the same price as this guy, so I just bit down and bought this. But whatever future build I'm going to do is going to get moved to that Kraken, because I kind of want to do a comparison myself and not just read reviews without me personally getting my hands on it. With all that so far, because this is only the first version of Perun, and it's going to keep evolving, I'll release videos on updates and what I'm doing, but the next update is definitely going to be an NVMe drive and a new power supply, and see if that gets rid of any of the gremlins I've noticed even at stock speeds. After power supply, NVMe drive, it's going to be a 960GB or larger SSD, depending if they do dip down in price. Like I've been noticing the trend that everything in SSD and flash storage is just dropping in price. Now, after all that, I might invest in an R9 Fury just for, well, fun, or get a dual Fury card because those might come out. I'm pretty fascinated by what AMD's done here. As you see in the PC part picker link list, there is no optical stuff because I'm not going to need it, and you'll see what the future additions are. Of course, 64 gigs of RAM, power supply, SSDs out the wazoo with 3TB drive, and well, there's only a single R9 Fury on that list because I wanted to exactly see how much power draw and estimation is on an 8, what this whole system is doing right now. So I can actually put the A15 there and be a little bit okay. But like I said, there's gremlins, more than likely due to the power supply being 4 years old. I've seen it before and I know what's going on. So, without further ado, let's move on to some fancy B-roll of this build being built. hope everybody out there on the internet enjoyed that quick B-roll spliced to the beats of music and other nonsense with fancy editing. But I digress. This is just another umpteenth build for me, and I'm pretty happy with the performance I've gotten out of this thing so far, and it's done everything I need, as I said earlier in the video. I'm Max of makshacks. If you've liked this video and want to see more build log videos and other nonsense, then click the like button down there. If you want to see me make more videos, then motivate me by clicking the subscribe button down there too. That makes me feel better, and actually you see the numbers going up and I'm like, hey, I see what I can make next and what people actually want to see. And I noticed the network videos and the build logs are more popular than my odd vinyl how-to videos, but those might go up because it's only been up a month, so those things grow. Alrighty then, everybody on the internet, you take care. Max signing off.